So I wanted to go a little bit deeper because I talked about the vagus nerve and sort of anxiety and depression and how that connects, that sort of nerve connects the brain and the gut, right? So I wanted to go deeper into that. So the understanding is when you feel anxious, it's when you're afraid of what's coming or what you think could come, in terms of negative things or, just fears becoming reality. Whether or not that's actually going to happen is a completely different thing, and it is often irrational. Then, of course, depression is, I guess, reminiscing or missing the way things were. Often we do this when we kind of look at things that have happened that seemed good at the time, and we look at them, again, it depends, but we can see them as being it was a better time than what is now. And this is often what we do when we're sort of stuck in a moment we don't enjoy. So that's where depression or despair can kind of kick in. Obviously, alcohol can make this worse. It is a depressant. So again, if you drink a lot of alcohol, or even if you don't think that you do and you drink some, it's still part of that process. And it will lean into depression because alcohol, among other things, it kind of makes you stuck. This is something I don't think a lot of people talk about. But when you speak to someone who's been drinking for a long time and they drink a lot, they often talk about like the good old times, like things were better back when, whatever. And they can look at it as those were the glory days. It's almost like in their mind and in reality, time has stopped, right? Their reality now is different because the experience is that they're stuck in time, the time before they were drinking as heavily. And then that time passes and they're kind of in a fog. So they remember and they'll bring it up a lot too, which is why I think when you're talking to people who are drinking and they're drunk, they repeat themselves. It's like when you're drinking, time stops. You're not able to think clearly about the moment. You're not able to be present. You're stuck in the past. And it can be like present past, like it's just happened, or it can be distant past. And I think that's the whole point, of why alcohol is such a problem among what it does to the body, the brain, etc. Like they've proven that there is no amount of alcohol that's actually good for human beings. From a non-physical point of view, like I said, it will keep you stuck in the moment. From a physical point of view, it kills every cell in the body, and your body has to try and compensate, regenerate. It causes a lot of problems. Now, the whole anxiety thing, I guess this can be tricky. I suppose anything that speeds you up, that speeds up your system, a stimulant. So I'd probably say the main one would be like coffee. That's kind of obvious. Or caffeinated drinks because it speeds up your system. It can give you this concept or this idea that you're going too fast, you can't keep up, and now you're anxious of what's coming. It also links to the adrenal glands. So these glands are your adrenaline kicks in when you need it, when you're in fear, when you're in pressure. Again, a potential danger is impending. Either you're in the midst of it and you need that, that dump of adrenaline, or you're afraid that it's coming. The potential, the possibility. Now, obviously you don't have to have drug-induced whatever to make these things possible in the human brain and body and these responses, but chemical substances make it so much worse. It makes it so much more real because it attacks your ability to think logically and to think clearly. And when it comes to drugs, alcohol, it takes a lot longer than what people think to get rid of this stuff and the effects that it has on your body and your mind and your brain. So with alcohol, it takes 7 years for your body to completely rid itself of all of the damage caused by alcohol. I would say when it comes to drugs, it'd be pretty similar. It takes a long time to get through these things because it starts to attack and affect your entire body. So it takes time for you to pull yourself out of these cycles, because the reason why most people get addicted to drugs and alcohol in the first place is because of some kind of trauma, some kind of disconnect. That's what happens, not just even with those things, but like any sort of negative or destructive addictive tendency. You're trying to avoid something. You're trying to avoid pain, or you're trying to find a way to connect to other people and situations. But it doesn't. It causes a disconnect. It can feel like it connects us because if a lot of people are doing that, then you're all doing it together and it feels like you're being together. But it really does create a separation between us and between ourselves. So if you do kind of struggle with anxiety and depression, you might want to look at finding ways to cut down, or even better, cut out these chemical substances that are highly destructive. It just, and in the beginning, it's not going to be easy. So you do have to find something to replace it. Try and find something that's far less destructive, something that's actually not bad. It's not bad for you. So again, I have talked about this before, but find something that, like in terms of alcohol, find some kind of drink that kind of creates a placebo effect where, you enjoy it, it tastes nice and gives you the same kind of satisfaction that the alcoholic drink gave you, but now you don't have to deal with the repercussions. So figure out what that is, whether it's like mocktails or some kind of like a sparkling drink or like a juice or something. Anything is going to be better than you drinking alcohol. And then it'll be easier for you to deal with your depression. That's just the start, right? It isn't going to just fix it instantly. There's patterns that are emerging from these things. But it starts the process. Same thing with if you're drinking caffeine or whatever and, you're getting that kind of rush. And then that kind of can put you into that anxious sort of state and make you kind of fearful of what's coming. There's so many things that can be done with this. And, I might make some on my website. I might make some like general points and things to try when it comes to pulling ourselves out of destructive, addictive tendencies. Because I have done this with most of my life. The things that most people do that are highly destructive, I don't do. I don't partake in. And I've done that myself. I didn't go see anybody. I did a lot of research and I found out things that worked and then I stuck to them. So again, in terms of astrology, human design, and numerology, I might, in terms of this, like if you wanted to do a reading, I might even create an addiction reading. That might not be a bad idea. But I would look into the areas of your chart that can show your traumas and also your addictive tendencies. And then I can see why you might lean to certain things and make it more specific to you and then help you through that process. That might be worthwhile. But there's definitely some things that can be done. You can't just quit these things. You took on these negative or toxic, destructive types of things as a way to cope. So you can't just cut those. You got to find something that's not as bad to replace it. And then when you feel strong enough, you start to tackle the actual thing. Now this can be scary. This can make people feel very unnerved because it's something they've been burying and not facing. It can be that, when you were a child, you felt a lack of connection with your parents or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it can be anything. It can be some kind of an experience you had as a child that made you feel very hurt, isolated, and alone. So it might seem stupid, from the outside. You might in your mind kind of go, oh, that was such a stupid thing. Like, I should just get over it. No, it isn't. If it's affecting you this much, it's not stupid, and it's not something you should just brush under the carpet. It's something you have to face. Once you face it, you overcome it, life becomes easier, and you enjoy things more. That's just how it works. And sometimes we need that support from someone else who isn't in it, who isn't dragged down by it, and can see things more clearly to help us. So I'd like to be that person. I like doing this. I like helping people. I'm good at it. So by all means, let me help you if you want. And so you're not going to be bogged down by these things. There's obviously physical components, spiritual components, mental, emotional components. Like there's all sorts of stuff that's tied into anxiety, depression, addiction, destructive tendencies. Like all this sort of stuff can cause some serious problems to people's lives. And people can make some really crazy decisions that really don't benefit them and don't get them what they want in life. And look, at the end of the day, you might think it's a bit weird that I'm going to say what I'm going to say. That's fine. You can think that if you want. But what I'm going to say is, look, even if I don't know you, it doesn't matter. I want the best for you. I want the best for myself and I want the best for everyone else. So I'd like to help you do it. If I can, and as long as you're willing to do the work, I will be able to help you. It's definitely worthwhile to consider these things. So reach out, let me know. But I thought I would talk about some of those things and go through some interesting topics. I do like to talk about health a lot. I think it is wrapped up in what I do. So I thought I'd bring that up and sort of talk it through. I might go into some other areas when it comes to anxiety and depression, some of the more non-physical parts, like mindsets and stuff like that. But I thought I would talk about that because I had a bit of a craving to talk about it, so I did. But yeah, see you next time.